Welcome to the UNV certification program. The topic of this video is the IPC operation and maintenance. In this video, we will introduce the IPC Live View, playback photo configuration, IPC common setups, and its network configuration. Also, we will cover the topics of IPC video snapshot, audio, and ROI settings, together with the PTZ configuration, plus the detailed image setups. Let's start from IPC Live View setting. Now we're on the login page of the IPC. If it is the first time you access the web page, it will prompt you to install the plugin. Once you have installed the plugin, reopen this web page. Input the username and password. If you log in with the Live View checkbox selected, live video will appear by default when you are logged in. Here we have entered the IPC web page. From the head bar here, you can see Live View, playback, photo, and setup. We will talk about them one by one in the following episodes, and now let's look at Live View first. As we can see, here are many icons and buttons with different uses around the Live View window. We will explain them from top to down. On the top here, you can set image display ratio of the window, as well as select a live video streaming type. At the left button corner, this icon is to stop or play live video. When audio is turned on, by dragging the volume bar, you can adjust the output volume for the media player on your PC. Drag this bar to adjust the microphone volume. The real-time frame rate, bit rate, video resolution, compression format, and packet loss rate are shown here. Now we move on to the bottom right corner. Snapshot icon enables you to take a snapshot of the current image and save it on your PC. If the moment is important to you, you can click this icon to start recording, which can also be saved locally after you click it again to stop recording. Click here to start audio communication between the PC and the camera if your camera supports two-way audio. When you click this icon, digital zoom function can be activated. Then you are able to enlarge the details of the picture. To focus on a specified area, we click Area Focus icon and press the mouse to draw an area here. "3D positioning enables you to quickly locate the target and the image quality remains. This icon works with intelligent functions such as SIP, people counting, and so on. If the intelligent functions have been triggered, all the captured pictures will be displayed here. This icon is for full screen display. Next is the PTZ control panel. You are able to pan or tilt the camera by clicking the buttons here. Slide to adjust the moving speed of the PTZ camera, the higher the faster. These icons allow you to zoom in or zoom out the live image, as well as change the focus and iris. And this one is for desnowing function. If you turn it on in snowy days, the camera will start to pan or tilt around fast to shake off the snow on it. Click Scene Lock to lock the screen if needed. Now let's have a look at how to set preset and patrol. To set a certain area as a preset, like the current image, click the Add button. It prompts up this window. Enter the preset number and name here. It's done now. Pan the camera and we set another preset in the same way. By this, you can check this preset view quickly. Now we move on to patrol. A patrol route is the track by which a PTZ camera follows when moving from a preset to the next. In the patrol option, click here to add a patrol route. Enter route ID and name. Here you have lots of action types. And you can configure the speed, duration ratio, and stay time. Here we go with the two presets we have set. Set the stay time to 15, then the camera will stay at this preset for 15 seconds before it goes to the next preset. When these are done, it is optional to make a patrol plan. Choose to enable patrol plan. Set the exact date and time period. You have the option to copy the settings to other dates. Then the camera will follow the patrol route to monitor the presets at the interval we set. This icon allows you to quickly create a patrol route. Enable it and rotate the camera to the views you needed to monitor, then a patrol route will be created automatically. Here come the IPC photo and video settings. This is the playback panel. Before you are going to check the recordings, please make sure you have a micro SD card inserted inside the camera so that it will work normally. To check the recordings, choose a date on the calendar. Then click Search. And recordings on the selected date will be shown below. Then double-click it to play. The red part means there are alarms reported, while the blue part represents the normal recording. What's more, we can turn on or off the audio when playing the recordings. Also, the recordings can be played at various speeds as you need. To download the recordings, select the recording time and download path, then we can download the chosen recordings to our PC. Besides, click the icon, we can cut a clip from the recording. Click it again, and we can finish cutting the clip. Then click Save. The clicked clip will be listed here. We can download the clips to our PC. Also, we can take a snapshot and enable or disable the digital zoom. Now let's move on to photo. We can see the alarm-triggered snapshot here. When we set snapshot as the alarm-triggered action, the alarm snapshot will be shown here. The Smart Server contains Server 1 and Server 2. The camera can send pictures to these two servers, and we can download the uploaded pictures here. And the Common Server folder will save the snapshot when the alarm is reported, such as motion detection, crossline, and so on. And snapshot will be classified by the alarm type and snapshot time. Click the snapshot, picture will be shown on the right. Then we can click refresh to refresh the photo list. And also export or delete the photos by clicking the corresponding icon. Capacity for each server will be shown here. We can see the total capacity for common and smart snapshots, and the free space as well. Here we go to the IPC common setups. From the basic info, we are able to get device information including device model, IP address, MAC address, firmware version, and operation time. In local parameters, we can make settings for smart functions, video, audio, and recording and snapshot. These settings under Smart are for intelligent functions. Take face detection as an example here. With Intelligent Mark enabled, the detected face will be marked with a green frame. When Object Attributes is enabled, attributes like gender, age or glasses will be displayed under the captured face snapshot. To get full body snapshots, you can enable the Display Human Body Snapshots. For the video, for display modes are listed here. The default mode is balanced, which means it will balance the delay and fluency of the live streaming. Min delay means the video delay will be shortened to the minimum, but the video quality might be reduced. With fluent mode, video fluency is of top priority, which might cause delay. When we click the last one, Custom, we could set a value between 6 and 25 to balance fluency and delay. For the protocol, TCP and UDP are both available. We recommend you to choose TCP when the network is not good. The recording and snapshot is to make settings for local recordings and snapshots. This is the local folder path, you can modify it here. The recordings will be stored in separate folders by time or by size. We can choose to overwrite or stop the recording when the local storage is full. The total storage capacity can be set here. Network page. The default IP obtain mode of an IPC is static and the default IP address is 192.168.1.13. When an IPC is physically connected to the PoE port of UNB's NBR, the NBR will enable DHCP automatically. If an IPC is going to be connected with a third-party NBR, we should enable the DHCP first, then add it via ONBIF. Or we modify the IPC's IP address to keep it in the same network with the third-party NBR. Now we go to time. We can set IPC time manually, or in 5 ways as listed. The first one means the IPC time will be synchronized with system or computer. This one is to synchronize with NTP server. The third one, with ONBIF management server if the IPC is registered on an ONBIF server. Synchronize with the latest server when there are multiple servers. The last one is to sync with cloud server. Then select time zone according to your country and region. These are the DST settings: daylight saving time, set start time, end time, and also DST bias. On Intelligent Server page, you are able to set up this IPC. For example, car plate number recognition function. Next one, OSD. Short for on-screen display. This IPC supports up to 8 OSD. There are many default titles available. We can also customize a title as needed. This area allows you to change the display style. User. On this page, you are able to create users for other people as common users or operators to access your camera. You can also edit and delete users. Next up is the IPC network setting. IPC has 3 methods for obtaining the IPv4 address: static, PPPoE, and DHCP. A static IP address is simply an address that doesn't change. If the camera gets a connection to the network by a static IP address, we need to input the IP address, subnet mask, and default gateway address. Make sure that the IP address of the camera is unique in the network. PPPoE combines 2 widely accepted standards, Ethernet and PPP, to provide an authenticated method of assigning IP addresses to client systems. If the camera is connected to the network through point-to-point over Ethernet, then switch the IP obtaining mode to PPPoE and put in the username and password provided by the Internet Service Provider. The operating mode is recommended to be set as auto-navigation. If the DHCP server is deployed in the network, the camera can automatically obtain an IP address from the DHCP server. Most routers can serve as DHCP servers. The camera also supports IPv6 add manually. MTU can be adjusted from 576 to 1500. The operating mode could be multiple strategies. The auto-negotiation is recommended. The domain name system is for turning domain names into IP addresses. It is advisable to set its value as default. Now let's move on to port settings. Currently, our IPC can map 3 kinds of ports out. HTTP port is the web access port. HTTPS port is the encrypted web access port. And RTSP port is the live streaming port. Generally, it is needless to modify these default port numbers. Port mapping allows services in private networks to connect over the internet with other public or private services. Turn on the port mapping. 2 methods can be utilized to configure its setting: universal plug and play and manual. If the router supports UPnP, both methods above will work. It's advisable to go with UPnP since this way saves trouble. We can select mapping type as UPnP and get the UPnP mapping type as auto. The camera and router will configure available ports and be mapped automatically. Users outside of the LAN are therefore able to access the camera. We can choose UPnP mapping as manual as well, and then fill in the available port numbers manually. If the routers don't support the UPnP, we need to get the mapping type as manual, and manually configure the port numbers on both the IP camera and the router sides. Then save. The active status tells mapping works successfully. Inactive indicates the port is occupied. If the camera is connected to the internet through PPPoE, the IP address of the network may change every time it connects to the ISP server. This is inconvenient when we are remotely accessing the device with an IP address. With DDNS, IPC will obtain a domain name instead of IP address to visit the network. DDNS supports 3 types: Dynamic DNS, No IP, and EasyDDNS. The first 2 types are the third-party DDNS servers that charge. We recommend you go with the EasyDDNS as this type is provided by Uniview and it is free. Complete other settings including server address, domain name, username and password. Click Save. EasyCloud enables us to access and manage the IP cameras on the mobile surveillance app remotely. Turn on EasyCloud. Scan the QR code to download the app. Sign up for the cloud account. Then scan the QR code again with the app to add cameras. To receive an email notification when the alarm happens, we can set up an available email address here. As for Simple Network Management Protocol, it is a protocol used to realize the integrated equipment management. SNMPv3 is suggested when a camera is going to transfer info with the central servers. Make sure both the camera and the central server support SNMPv3. The last part is about 802.1x and QoS. 802.1x authentication secures network connection. When it is turned on, only the authenticated devices are able to connect to the network. QoS can fix issues like network delay and congestion. It provides a better service for specified network communication. Now, let's move on to the IPC video snapshot settings. In the web interface of IPC, we can set different parameters for main, sub, and third video streams. For video compression, it supports 3 types of coding standard: H.265, H.264, and MJPEG. H.265 achieves the best performance among them, and the default bitrate for it is half of that for H.264. In a limited bandwidth environment, H.265 ensures higher coding efficiency and delivers smoother video. This camera offers a wide range of resolutions to choose from, including 1080p, 720p, D1, and so on. Frame rate works for image encoding. Higher frame rate makes the video look smoother. However, the video display is also related to the screen refresh rate. We might as well select the appropriate frame rate for our display devices. Bitrate is the bandwidth required for data transmission. Here we can adjust bitrate type. CBR means constant bitrate, and the camera transmits data at a constant bitrate in this mode. VBR means variable bitrate, and the camera adjusts bitrate dynamically according to image quality. When bitrate type is VBR, we can move the slider to adjust. Moving the slider toward bitrate decreases the bitrate and may affect image quality. Moving the slider toward quality increases the bitrate and improves image quality. When set to CBR, we cannot adjust here. Iframe interval shows the interval that an iframe is encoded. Normally, a shorter iframe interval offers better image quality but consumes more bandwidth. Next, we can set the extent of smoothing. Choosing clear means disabling smoothing. Moving the slider towards smooth increases the level of smoothing but will affect image quality. In a poor network environment, we can enable smoothing to get more fluent video. SVC means scalable video coding. The function is to reduce storage without compromising playback quality. UCode is self-developed by UniView. It achieves higher compression ratio while the resolution is still at a high level. In basic mode, the actual bitrate is around 3/4 of the set bitrate. In advanced mode, the actual bitrate is around a half of the set bitrate. UCode helps to reduce the demand for network bandwidth in transmission and decrease the need for hard disk space in storage. Accordingly, we shall enable substream and third stream and modify the parameters as required. The parameters for the sub and third stream are the same as that for the main stream. In Snapshot, we can set the resolution and max size for it. What's more, snapshot interval can be set from 1 to 60 seconds. Number to snapshot can be set to 1, 2, or 3. If we set snapshot interval to 1 and number to 2, the camera will take one snapshot first, and then take another after 1 second. We still have two types of snapshot mode. In schedule mode, we need to set a snapshot time. For example, 1912, which means the camera will take a snapshot at 1912. In repeat mode, it allows you to set an interval. For example, according to the settings shown here, there will be a 60 seconds interval before the camera takes the next snapshot. Okay, now, let's get into the IPC audio and our OI setting part. In this web interface of IPC, we can set a lot of audio encoding parameters. In audio input, audio data will be encoded when on is selected. It is recommended to select off if you do not need audio, as this improves device performance to some extent. In access mode, we only have line mic mode currently, and this function is not available to devices with 2 audio output channels. Next is input volume. It amplifies audio signal. The higher volume ensures the greater amplification. Here we have 2 options of audio compression: G711U and G711A. Both of them support 8 kHz sampling rate only. Noise suppression is used to reduce noise in audio, so as to improve audio quality. For cameras that support more than one channel, we can select a specific input channel. In audio output, we can choose the speaker and adjust its output volume. Now let's move on to audio file. We shall configure alarm sound of a camera and connect it to a speaker. When the alarm has been triggered, the speaker will play alarm sound. On this page, we can configure the alarm volume and alarm audio file. Here are some system-provided audios, and we can also upload custom audio files. Just click Browse to select the custom audio and import it. Most cameras support PCM audio files, and the max size of a PCM file is 200K. Besides, some cameras support MP3 files as well. With the help of custom audio files, we can configure alarm sound freely. ROI means region of interest. Here we can zoom in and zoom out for this PTZ camera to adjust the suitable focal length. Enable ROI function. The system will ensure image quality for region of interest first if the bitrate is insufficient. Here we can add up to 8 areas of ROI. Now, let's talk about configurations of PTZ. PTZ function is available only for the PTZ cameras or a box camera installed on a pan motor. And the PTZ control buttons may vary with camera model. Let's start with basic settings. This function means when the PTZ camera goes to the preset site, the live image will freeze at the current image until the camera gets to the preset site. Next is power off memory. If power off memory is on, the IPC will remember the previous position after it powers off. Here allows you to adjust the speed for the preset by sliding the speed bar. To prevent the camera from rotating all the time, we turn this button on and set the timeout interval. When we set up home position, PTZ camera will return to home position if no operation is made within a certain period. We need to make sure home position function is turned on. Select one mode as home position, preset, patrol or recorded route. Choose ID according to the mode you select. Then we set 30 seconds as idle state. If there is no operation within 30 seconds, the camera will turn to preset 01. Then we move on to limit. Setting rotation limits can stop the PTZ camera from hitting obstacles such as a wall. Use these directional buttons on the control panel to rotate the camera to an intended position. For example, we're going to make it up, and click here on the top to set the upper limit. Then click Save and enable PTZ limit. After up is set as the upper limit, if we still want the camera to go up, it won't work anymore because we already set this direction as a limit. Click this button, we will tilt the camera to the current position we set if the direction has been changed. You can repeat the above steps to set the other 3 limits as needed. Remote control can be very helpful when the PTZ camera is working with a third-party platform that might have an unmatched protocol with it. In this case, you can enable the remote control function to control the PTZ. This function is only supported by PTZ cameras. Select on to enable remote control. Enter the listener port and address code. The listener port is the camera's local port, which cannot be a port that is already in use. The camera can read the address code contained in instructions. And it can interpret the instruction only when the address code in the instruction is the address code configured here. Then we click Save. On Patrol page, you can turn on Preset Snapshot. It means when alarm events occur in the preset, we can capture a picture. You can also set a time for PTZ camera to resume its patrol route after the patrol is interrupted. Here we set 60 seconds. Before you enable this function, please configure Snapshot first. The orientation page allows you to set any direction as north. Rotate the camera to a position and set it as north. Click Go to North, and the camera will turn to the north we set, no matter where it points. The last part of this episode is about the IPC image setting. The easiest and quickest way to achieve the desired image effect is to select a scene from this drop-down list, based on the scene the camera is in. Here are some preset scene modes. Common fits the outdoor scene most. We may find more references regarding the scene names in this note. Up to 5 different scenes can be set to the current, which allows us to switch to different scenes quickly. We can also add these scenes to the auto-switching list and set up a schedule, an illumination range, and the PTZ elevation. as the conditions for each scene we selected. Enable auto switching. When the conditions for switching are met, the system will switch to the scenes we added to the list automatically. By default, the auto-switching list includes the default scene. If no conditions are met, the camera remains in the default scene. After a scene is selected, the corresponding image parameters are displayed below. We can manually configure them according to actual needs as well. Then, let's have a look at image enhancement. Here we can move the slider or enter the value to adjust the parameters, like brightness, saturation, and so on. Image rotation helps to flip images vertically or horizontally, making it more flexible to watch the live video. We can also rotate images 180 or 90 degrees, adapting to various installation angles and directions. Next is exposure. There are some exposure modes corresponding to different scenes. In some modes like custom and manual, shutter and gain can be adjusted manually. The slow shutter improves image brightness in a low-light environment. Enable this function. We can set the slowest shutter speed that the camera can use during exposure. Here we can switch day-night mode. The camera provides black and white images in night mode. When day mode is on, it displays high-quality color images using the existing light. Automatic mode is highly recommended, as it enables the camera to switch between night mode and day mode automatically. When it is on, the sensitivity and switching duration of day-night mode can be adjusted. Below we will find settings for WDR. To adjust them, we need to enable it first. For cameras that support true WDR, the level from 1 to 3 represents digital WDR, and the from 4 to 9 is true WDR. It's advisable to set WDR on automatic mode, as it will adjust its level automatically. Now let's move on to smart illumination. The parameters under smart illumination vary with the camera models. For example, for cameras without built-in LED lights, we will find the infrared mode only. Other camera models may also support white light or dual light modes. The control mode varies with the camera models too. You can take the notes listed here as a reference. Next is focus, which provides different focus modes and other settings for PTZ cameras only. Then we move on to the white balance. There are several modes on this drop-down list to fit different scenes. In advanced, we will find defog function, which can be used to adjust the clarity of images captured in fog or haze conditions. It can be enabled when WDR is off. Next we will talk about OSD, short for on-screen display, which is the text displayed on the live screen. The OSD page allows to add up to 8 overlay contents to the live image. Click the edit icon, we can customize the content in the box. Or we can select the content from this drop-down list, which provides multiple OSD contents, such as date and time, preset, zoom, and so on. Tick the box to enable it. Click the desired box in the live view area and move it to the desired position. To set its position precisely, use the X-axis and Y-axis to coordinate it under Overlay area. In Display Style, we can set up the display effects, such as adding a background for the displayed content. Change the font size and color. Select the preferred time and date formats. The last topic is Privacy Mask. It helps to protect privacy by setting a mask area on the camera image. On certain occasions, like the keyboard of an ATM machine is in the camera's view. The number of privacy masks varies with camera models. Click Add, a mask box shows in the live image. We can adjust its size and move it to the desired position with the mouse. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. See you next time.